you're listening to Not the Girl Next Door show, and I have Jamie from Rise Among Rivals. How are you today?
I am good. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Thanks for coming on. Could you tell us a little bit about the band, like where you guys are from, how you guys formed, maybe a little bit about your name even?
Sure. We are Rise Among Rivals. We are located in Glen Burnie, Maryland, which is a little town south of Baltimore. And we we all were in different major bands in the area for like a couple of years. Guns Out at Sundown was pretty much the main one. Our drummer Chris is from that band, and they did some nationwide tours with like Trapped and a couple other bigger names like Mushroom Head, stuff like that. So we kind of went from doing that to going back to the local scene a little bit. But Dave, our singer, and I were in a band called Violence and Vanity locally, and our guitarist Jim was in a band called You're Too Kind. And we all were kind of like Maryland hot shots in a way, I guess. We were, bringing in lots of tickets to shows locally, and we decided to kind of do something together, and that turned into Rise Among Rivals, kind of a interesting endeavor to be started, a little bit out of each of our comfort zones in a different way. So kind of cool. It's just four of us. We work with a producer named Kyle Odell down in North Carolina. So we travel down there every once in a while to, get our songs produced and stuff like that.
So how did you guys come up with the name Rise Among Rivals?
That was actually before my time. I kind of joined later in the band. I was the second to last member. So I think they were just down in studio and they were just trying to come up with something cool. I don't know that there's necessarily a strong meaning behind it or anything like that. I just know that Dave likes his alliteration, so that kind of flows off the tongue a little bit. So.
Well, the logo, your like band logo goes with it too. I mean, it's very fitting.
Oh, thank you.
So for those listeners who have not heard the band before, how would you describe the band? Like, what kind of sound would you say that Rise Among Rivals has?
It's just kind of hard-hitting modern rock. We do a lot of electronic stuff in the background just to help it move a little bit more than just like standard like hard rock would. We get influences are like Nothing More, Breaking Benjamin, Shine Down, Papa Roach even. Just kind of the big modern rock bands. We kind of try to take those influences and put them into our music in our own way. So
you kind of discussed a little bit that you guys have been in other bands and you guys have been on tour before, basically. So what is it like going to a Rise Among Rivals show? How would you describe to people who's never been to a live show before?
That's kind of something I'm very about in this band specifically. Lots of high energy movement on stage, with very, very strong stage performance from all of us. We all come from bands where like having just a big stage show and lots of lights, lots of sound, lots of fun crowd. Like right now, our EP release show that we had in June, it was June 1st this year. It was a foam finger night, so we like to do kind of some wild stuff. So we were giving out free Rise Among Rivals foam fingers at the door to anybody who came, and it worked out really cool. Honestly, it was there's some cool pictures on Facebook of just like the whole crowd holding up foam fingers with us in front of them, and it's kind of a big moment. So it's definitely a wild ride when you come to one of our shows.
Now, how does the musical process work with you guys? How does writing work? Does one person write? Is it a collaboration? How does it work to sit down and get a song together from the band?
So we do a lot of writing with our producer. We probably take 85% of a song down to him, and then he kind of makes it into the final product with just his knowledge. But it's definitely a group effort. We all go down to the studio. We all help out in every way possible. So drum beats, guitar riffs, vocals, lyrics, anything. We all have input on all of that. So it usually has to do with somebody coming up with that initial idea, and then we just kind of grow off of that.
So when you make music, you're putting your creative process, your heart and soul into it. How does it feel when you guys do perform live and you see the fans singing your songs, belting out the lyrics, and just totally getting into the music that you guys have a passion to do? How does that feel to be up there on stage and see that?
It's pretty magical, honestly. And we've only been a band for a little over a year now, so our last show that we had was the 27th of October, so it was a couple, last weekend, I guess, or 2 weekends ago now. And, fans were singing songs that I've never expected anybody to know the lyrics to. And it's seriously a magical thing when people local to you are singing your own songs back to you. And, you can drop out of a chorus and they're singing it, and it's there, and you don't even have to be singing it at all. It's definitely something that every musician should strive for, honestly.
Now, do you guys have any crazy fan or band stories while performing live? Any craziness happen that you can tell us about with Rise Among Rivals?
Honestly, the last show we had, we have these, ego risers is what they call them, just like boxes on the front of the stage for the guitarist to stand on. So I was actually standing on one in our last song, and I stepped back and I stepped onto my singer's leg, and I almost fell straight off the stage. Luckily, I had a friend standing at side stage who caught me, but we have it on video. It's really embarrassing, and I don't want to show that to anybody. But it was, my life did flash before my eyes, But
I'm sure.
Kind of, I don't know. Anything crazier than that? Not really. That was kind of the craziest thing that's happened on stage. But when we first started as a band, basically Chris and Dave came to me and said, "Hey, we're going on tour in 3 months. Learn these songs." And I said, "Okay." And then we went on tour, and that was my first tour ever personally, so it was kind of a wild experience. And we went on tour with Slaw, and we started, our first night was in Tennessee, and the day after was New York City. So it was a lot of driving right off the bat, but it was fun. It was a good time.
I'm sure it's a completely exhausting experience, but I'm sure there's a lot of craziness being on the road like that.
Oh, yeah.
So if you could build your ultimate tour for the band, and you can choose anyone, no matter who they are, who would you guys want to tour with? Who would be the ultimate tour for you guys to go anywhere with anyone?
That's a loaded question. I guess, for us, probably, Shinedown would be a really awesome band to tour with if there's, no budgetary restraints or anything like that, or constraints, not restraints. I think they'd be a really fun band. Like I said before, Nothing More would be a really cool band, too. They're kind of popping off right now. Honestly, any modern, Breaking Benjamin, any modern rock arena band would be awesome to play with. On a tour nationwide anywhere, honestly. We do have a lot of fans over in Germany and the UK, so maybe a Europe tour would be cool, something like that.
For me, could you tell us a little bit about the song and the video?
All right, so Empty Love Scene was the first single we released off our EP. We all fell in love with that song the first time we heard it, I think. It's dark. It's got a really cool guitar riff that makes me think of a creepy circus or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of
Definitely.
It's almost like if Korn was trying to do something poppier. I don't know. That song, it slams for us. It's definitely, it was our show opener for a long time, and now we actually have a new song that hasn't been released yet that we open our sets up with. But Empty Love Scene, the first time I heard it was before I was in the band, I believe. But I was like, wow, yeah, I'm going on tour with these guys. Like, absolutely. Lyrically, I don't really know what it's about. I guess it's about me, in the hypothetical me, because that's literally the lyrics. But there was a lyrical snafu in there. I think it's "You're my deceit." Me, it's about me, it's about me. As the chorus, but for a long time, everybody thought "You're my disease." It's about me, it's about me. So kind of it changed meaning a little bit there,
Right.
but I think it's definitely deceit. I think Dave corrected me on that one in a different interview at one point. But yeah, I don't know. The song's killer. I think it hits hard. It grooves. It's definitely like a party starter kind of thing for us.
And then the second video you guys had out was Spiteful Eyes, and that's your most current single, right?
Yep, that's our most current single. We only released the 2 from this EP. It's a 6-song EP. So Spiteful Eyes, we kind of went for the same vibe with the video, just a different lighting scheme. We used a guy named Tom Flynn out of New York. He did both of those videos for us. He's awesome to work with. He really captures, us and our essence as a live band, I think. Excuse me. And that song is great too. Lots of people love it. I think that's more of a straightforward rock song for us. And I think it's a little bit more accepted in a lot of rock communities than Empty Love Scene is. Just because it's a little, it's more straightforward. But yeah, I mean that I don't know who it's about, but I mean Dave's not happy with her, or whoever's not happy with her. I don't know who came up with the lyrics, but it's just kind of like a love song-ish type ordeal. Kind of scared of your spiteful eyes. And that's. Yeah, I think people can relate to it. I think it's a song that you can easily kind of just put in your own life somehow, and kind of just like connect with it that way. So I think that's we picked that as a single for that reason, just because it can be easily connected with on different levels. Like we've had people message us being like, "This song's about me," and we're like, I mean, if you want it to be, sure.
Right.
But I like that. I think that's important. I think it's good that our fans do connect with our music in different ways, and it's not necessarily like they want to know all the ins and outs of why we wrote it. They kind of just take it as it is, and they listen to it, and they connect with themselves through our music, and that's awesome.
Sure, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I talk about lyrics all the time on my show, like lyrics, and I'll post lyrics when I can on my show when I play songs. When I have the song come up, I'll post the song and then some snippet of the lyrics or a whole, the whole song lyrics if I have it. But I think the beauty of lyrics are the person that wrote it. It may mean one thing to them, but then it may mean something completely different to somebody else. So you're right. I think that's the thing. It may be a central connection of it all, but it can mean two separate things. And that's
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's a beautiful thing for, a lot of musicians. You never know what song is going to help somebody out through a dark time or, help them through a positive time even. And we love hearing about it. We love when people tell us, like, this song is like, I've been listening to it nonstop because I just connect with it right now and it's awesome. And it's just a really good feeling to have.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Now, do you guys plan on doing more videos for songs off of the new EP that you guys released in June? Or are you guys writing more music for another EP? Or what's in the works right now? Are you guys just hanging out for the holidays? Because a lot of bands I know are like, we're done. This is it. We'll start again after the new year. Tour is over, so.
Well, I feel like we're honestly just getting started. We kind of had a big band meeting the other night and talked about, our goals and what we want to do and what the next steps are. So we're right now we're fundraising, trying to get some money together so that we can, be ready to tour when an opportunity comes up. We're talking to some booking agents right now. We're talking to some tour managers right now. And we're going to try to push this EP as far as it can go. But at the same time, we have continued to record with Kyle down in North Carolina, and we do have another song that's we're gearing up and doing a video for that's not released yet. So I think marketing-wise and campaign-wise, we're going to just push out some singles, I think, for now, just to try to get some more interest and bring people back to the first EP. And just kind of see where we go from there. It might develop into another EP. It might develop into a full album. We're not quite sure yet where it's going to go, but we're just going to start with doing a couple singles. But we are gearing up to do another music video, I think this month, or we're starting it this month. We're starting the filming for it. And this will be a storyline video. It's not going to be just another performance video. So it will be a little bit more, this is what this song's about, and less of us just playing, and looking awesome. So
now, you released an EP and you said, something could turn into a full-length album. Lately, it seems like, especially over the past couple of years, most bands are either releasing single by single or they're releasing just, smaller EPs. Why do you think that is? Because if you look back 10 years ago, it was still full-length albums that most people were releasing. What made you guys decide to do like an EP, or what do you see the benefits of doing that as compared to a full-length album all at once?
I think for us it was really important just to get music out really quickly. We spent a lot of money getting this EP together in general, just with the recording process. And we were like, you know what, we could do this into a full album, but, people don't know who we are yet. So We're going to keep pushing out, we're going to push out this EP and see how far it takes us. And we had some pretty good success with it so far. I think the biggest issue that bands have is usually like they'll release an EP and they'll think that they're just done, or they'll release an album and they're just done. There's no like follow-up. There's no follow-through. They're not trying to push, a tour for that EP or that album. And so our goal is kind of like, most albums have like a year-long to 16-month lifespan. So we're trying to keep this EP alive for that long, just to see, who we can reach with it and how far we can get with it. So we still have quite a bit of time, about like a year left to just kind of push this EP and roll with it. But at the same time, I think a lot of bands are doing the singles just because it's a little bit easier as a listener to obtain than a full album. You don't want to, like, local music especially, or regional music, you don't want to waste, a couple $1,000 recording a 10-track album for people to only listen to the first two songs.
Right.
So I think, if you're releasing a single every, 2-3 months or something like that, it's a little bit easier to digest as a listener. There's a good band in North Carolina called Lowborn that has been doing single after single after single, and I think it's been working out pretty well for them. I don't know how sustainable it is as a band to do that, just because it's the effort that you put into recording and making a video and pushing out the marketing for one song, it gets expensive. So
yeah, definitely.
If you're pushing out the same amount of money for a full album or a full EP that you would for one song, I think it's you kind of have to gauge your budget and gauge your finances and gauge how much return you're getting on it before making a clear-cut decision of what you want to do. So I think we're doing pretty well with our EP right now. So we had some extra money. We're like, let's go record some singles. Let's get some stuff in the books. Make sure that we have content to push out when we need it. So we're kind of just building back-end content so that there's no lull in our promotion, no lull in our marketing and our music kind of thing. People, they listen to the EP, they loved it, they want more stuff. So we're kind of just trying to keep up.
Well, definitely, and it was just released in June, so, like you said, you guys are just beginning, so, you guys have a long way to go with this, and just beginning like that, and you guys have already built up listeners, built up fans, so, and just in the short amount of time, so, definitely, I agree.
Yeah, just got to keep pushing it. We have an awesome marketing guy. He's one of my best friends from college, and he helps us out with all of our like social media marketing stuff. And he's been a godsend to us in helping us get our music out to the world and making us look a lot bigger than we probably are. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. So
Of course not.
We're just taking one step at a time, and eventually it'll pay off. I'm more than confident in these 4 guys, including myself, but just kind of grind away until there's nothing left to grind.
Well, I agree. I think you guys have an awesome sound. Like I said, I think I'm constantly on YouTube, so there's always music that pops up or music that I find, and there's those songs that are just instant. You listen to it. He has a guitar riff to bring. For me, this is how the process works for me. You can have those guitar riffs bring you in, but can the vocalist bring it? And in this case, it works. So I absolutely loved it.
Well, thank you.
So where can everyone find your music? Or are you guys on everything through social media? Do you guys have a website? Where can fans find your things?
We're working on a website now, but nothing solidified yet. But you can find us on social media, Rise Among Rivals, Facebook, Instagram. We have a Twitter, but we're not on it often. But we're on every major music distribution center, so Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Google, etc. Pretty much anything you can imagine, we're on it. So if you want to listen to us, Rise Among Rivals, not Rise Amongst Rivals. It's just among. But that's kind of that's another story. When we first became a band and we were getting our Facebook set up, for whatever reason, it was Rise Among Rivals Among. They added a second among for whatever reason, right. And we had to have Facebook take that down, and it took a couple weeks. So all of our friends around here give us some crap for that, and they call us Rah Rah now. So, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think isn't there a band called Raw, like R-A? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there is a band called Raw.
That's what I thought.
So we're just Rah Rah now, I guess.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Anytime you guys want to come back and talk about a new release or, have a show coming up, you guys can contact me anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.